Hey, Ian, not financial advice, but I have 50K and I really want to turn this into 250K. What's your suggestion? I really have to make that and actually retire my parents. Do you think it's possible to? Well, I mean, nothing is guaranteed. I mean, investing in crypto is definitely risky. Let's maybe take it a step at a time, right? So obviously, as you mentioned, not financial advice. You have 50K, you basically want to 5X that. Question is what time frame, right? So I wouldn't rush it, because if you try to rush investing, that's when you're most likely to lose your money, because then you become desperate, right? So for example, I know in equities, there've been famous stories of traders losing money and then trading even more and basically being more aggressive with their trading to try to recoup that money, and then just basically losing most of the funds for their firm, right? So you definitely don't want to do that, right? So because if you lose money, you have to basically make even more money just to go back to where you were, right? So what can you do to 5X? I mean, long story short, I would say join Token Metrics. I mean, I'm sorry to kind of keep bringing that up, but we built our platform to really kind of be your guide with you, right? In this crypto investing space, whether trading, investing, we basically give you the research, the analytics, the AI. We have Bill on our team, right? So just having the right education and research gives you an edge. So having that edge that can give you that winning edge to win and make money in crypto. Because if you don't have the best research, it becomes a hassle, right? Because one person can't do it by themselves. So having a team kind of like us, our community, right? Even if you aren't paying for it, we have our live streams. Every Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern time, Bill and I are here answering your questions, sharing our thoughts on the market. So I think all that can definitely help and guide you towards that. Now, you mentioned wanting to help out your parents to help retire them. That's definitely a worthwhile cause. And I think having something that inspires you and kind of gives you that why as to why you're doing this can also help you stay in this long term, but also helps you manage risk, because you aren't just investing with gambling money, right? You're investing trying to help out your parents, right? So if you're trying to do something like that, you definitely don't want to be reckless. Bill, anything to add to that?
Sure. Helping out your parents is an extremely noble and admirable undertaking. However, it's also pretty emotional, right? And you don't want to make investment decisions, or you don't want to make any decisions out of desperation, okay? So if your question could be rephrased to say, I have 50,000 and I need to invest it so I can grow it as much as possible, okay, that's maybe a better way to think about it, because then that gets you into a mindset where, you know, you have some speculative stuff, you have some quality stuff, right? Because if your parents need 250 and your wealth goes from 50 to 25 because of desperation, you're really in bad shape, right? So always think of it as, hey, I want to make great investing decisions and let the market surprise me with the results, rather than dump 50,000 into something I think is going to pump and wind up in a trap. So that's the long way to say join Token Metrics, but
yeah. So to also basically chime in there as well. I mean, so think about this. If you're investing money that's meant to help your parents, you definitely have to do the research in what you invest in, because the last thing you want to do is put money that's meant to help your parents into some shitcoin of the week, because that's definitely not the way to go, right? So if anything, you need to have even better research, right? Because and then I would add on, plan for all kinds of risks, right? Because as somebody who also had the same goal back in 2016, 2017, for those who followed me, my goal was to basically help buy my parents a home, right? To kind of say, here, you know what? I've fully paid off the entire mortgage. Everything's on me. So I was able to make the money, but because of something I overlooked, mainly my crypto security, and I ended up getting hacked. And even though I made the money, I wasn't able to help them with that goal, right? And that was definitely one of the most, I would say, painful moments of just my crypto investing career. So I would say there's always a risk in everything you do, right? So not just risk of making money, but even after you've made the money, right? So just kind of think about that as well, right? So think about, so I would say your goal is to turn 50 to 250K. Okay, if that's the goal, try to figure out, okay, what timeline is realistic to make that money in crypto? Because if you're moving ahead of the timeline, then maybe it makes sense to take some money off the table to kind of put that into some kind of savings account, piggy bank, or whatever, right? So I would say invest, and as you make profit, take some profits and put that into something that you won't touch. Because last thing you want to do is make money, then take those profits, reinvest them into something that's very highly speculative, lose those funds, and now you're basically back to where you began, right? Because investing in crypto is very risky. Now, in terms of other ways to do that, I think the token metrics indices could be a way to do that. So for example, if your timeline is to only invest once a year, or maybe it's every quarter, every month, maybe pick an index that kind of fits your investment style and your time horizon, and then maybe use that, right? Maybe kind of use that maybe in addition to any other research tools you have, right? So I think that would be a good guide. But in general, I would say if you're investing for family, as Bill said, definitely manage risk, because last thing you want to do is go to your family and tell them, I lost this money because of some DeFi token that pumped 10x, then went down to nothing, right? So definitely be very, very cautious. And if anybody else has any other advice to our crypto family member, please post down in the comments below.